Good morning. Peace. How you doing? It's Mr. R2 here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast of choice. Um, it is Tuesday. Tuesday, December the 20th. This month is flying by. So if your birthday is coming up, if you are a December baby, trust me, your day is coming up. It is flying, so it is as close as it possibly can be. That little music thing just shocked me. It is close and it's definitely around the corner, especially with today being the 20th. Um, yeah. All right. So yesterday we talked about Sow the Land. Sow the Land was it was good to me. I learned a lot. There's some things that I was able to tap into, some information that I was able to onboard, upload. There were some things that really just allowed me to pull in just a little bit more. Miss Selena, how you doing, ma'am? Long time no see. I pray that your work week, where you at today? You in Waco? You're in Dallas? Something? But nah, I appreciate you like always, especially for being here. Um, you're a long time listener and participator. So I will always say thank you and I appreciate you for being here like always. So everyone that is coming on, those that may be listening in the podcast from the distribution. Okay, you're in Waco. All right, I see you. Those who listen to the podcast distribution side, whether it is iHeartRadio, um, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Podbean, um, iHeartRadio. I think I said that. I don't know. If I did, cool, you hear it twice. Also, Amazon Music. So yesterday again, we spoke about Sow the Land, and today is kind of it's not a continuance, but I think it kind of parallels with what we kind of spoke about this past day. And we're talking about the download. We are talking about the download. So as you see the question, I use this hand. As you see the question that is proposed, right? Continue it there. Um, your download is a reflection of your upload. Do you agree? Agree, yes, or I disagree. We're talking about what you actually absorb because a lot of times we want to do things. We want to have things in our lives and we want to create things for ourselves, but we have to look at what are we doing to get it and what have we done in order for us to obtain it. Because again, if you have yet to upload, whether it is information, whether it is research or whatever it is, it will show in your download. It will show, it will reflect what you have or have not done for you. So it is not something that you're waiting on someone to do for you, but it is something that you need to do for yourself in order for the outcome to be just as bountiful as the information that you input into yourself, into your lives, into your children, into your family, into your business, into your job. But you have to acknowledge that the download is just a reflection of what you've uploaded for yourself. All right, so let's jump into it. 2 feet, because I know you got things to do. It is early in the morning, 7:30, 7:35. 7:35. So let's go ahead and tap in. So what I want you to do inside the chat, put the word download because we're going to upload some information just so you can begin the process of the download. Because the download is how you action the things that you've learned. How you actually execute from the information that you've learned. Or how you begin to give yourself room to upload more after the download has been executed. Right? All right, let's go ahead and tap in. Let me get this out the way. All right, there you go. All right, so For those who may be new to the platform, you're going to get definitions of words or etymology, which I'm not going to get etymology into it. So I'm going to hit you with two definitions, and then we're going to jump into the deep dive. Again, good morning for everybody who comes into the room. I appreciate you. Go ahead and take this live and share it, whether it is in a group or you can share it on your own news feed, whichever one that you do. So let's go ahead and jump. The definition. The definition of download, it says an act or process of downloading data or data, however you say it. Some people say data, some people say data. Whatever it is, it's still spelled the same. D-A-T-A. I say data, D-A-T-A. You say data. It's still spelled D-A-T-A. Again, the definition says an act or process of data, whichever one. So the inversion on this is white over red. And now I want you to pay attention to, and the reason why I've chosen white over red is an act or process of data. Like, what information are you feeding yourself? What type of information have you absorbed when it is time for you to actually do things? You're going to have to learn how to process the information that you have gained. The process of thought, the process of activity is only done after you have assumed what you actually or either what you actually committed yourself to do, right? So now let's go into the second definition of data. It says copy data from one computer system to another, typically over the internet. And the information that I want you to pay attention to is copy from one system to another. Like, what information have you put into your children? What information have you put into your business? What information have you put into your thought process? Because if your children is a direct reflection upon you, so you have to then ask yourself, what have I inputted into my child? Because I'm seeing the download, the reflection of what the upload was. Like, you know, when there's something that is going on that you had no part of, because you're like, I know I didn't teach you this. So I didn't upload that. So that download, we need to sit down and look at what we have. We need to sit down and talk about what we're dealing with right now. Because the systems have changed. The conversations has changed. The behavior has changed. The character has changed. Because now there is an acknowledgement that something typically would happen is not happening. So we have to go back to where the copy came from. Because there was something that was different. And the third definition of download, and again, we're going to the dive after this, is the act or instance of transferring something such as data or files from a usual large computer to the memory of another. And the inversion is white over red, an act or instance of transferring something. Again, listening to the processes, the act or instant of transferring something. Like, what have you been reading all year? What have you been reading in the past few weeks? What have you been reading this month? Because something has to be absorbed. The information has to flow, and it's going to flow in conduit based off of what you have been feeding yourself. Like, oh, I want to learn how to do social media. Oh, I want to learn how to fix cars. Oh, I want to learn how to, I don't know, speak a second or third language. But it's not going to happen until you begin to transfer the proper data or transfer or to absorb in the instance the information that you need in order for it to be downloaded through action. But we have to acknowledge that, because in order for me to have a different outcome, I have to look at, what am I doing when I'm studying, or what am I doing when I'm learning, or where am I at when the information that I want to receive, like what conferences am I going to? What seminars am I going to? What YouTube videos am I watching? What conversations am I having? What settings do I find myself in? Because you can't or should not complain about what is not going on in your life. It has not been executed in or seen or shown in your download, because you haven't inputted the right information. It's not anyone else's fault. That's something that you have to acknowledge. Like, you know what? I probably should have uploaded a little bit more before I went out and executed, because right now my download looked really messed up. The outcome and the situations that I find myself in, it probably could have been different. So look at what you're doing, because it is a direct reflection from the information that you have, from the information that you have dealt with, or information that you're dealing with. And we have to acknowledge, when we input something, is going to then begin to take us into a whole new element of ourselves. Because the day you become content is the day you become complacent. And that's the day when you begin to stop self-evaluating yourself. That's where the self-evaluation stops, because you become so content and complacent with what you do that you're no longer learning. Because again, learn is what? The process of acquiring knowledge. So there is a process that you have to go through in order for the download to be achievable. Right? Because when you stop your upload, it actually really affects your download. You can't blame anyone else, because it's yours. It's your information. It's what you read. It's what you watched. Because if you want to know more about your download, just look at it. Look at your life experience. Look at what you've learned from it. Like, what information have you obtained? You find it hard to execute because you need to upload new systems. You need to change your behavior. You need to alter your attitudes. You need to look at what your routines are. Look at what your regiment looks like. Because what you put into it is what you'll get out of it. And what you failed to upload, you cannot download at all. Like, what have you uploaded into your children? Like, did you upload trauma? Did you upload fear? Did you upload anxiety? Did you upload anger? Did you upload deceit? Like, all of these things can be uploaded into a child, and you're trying to wonder, like, where does this behavior come from? Look at what you're providing for them. What examples have you provided for them? Or what examples have other people that you surround yourself with have provided for you? Like, what have you uploaded in your home? What have you uploaded in your relationships? Like, do you want a better download? Do you want your life to respond differently? Because when you want your life to respond differently, you have to begin constantly to be in a perpetual process of discovery. Like, what do I need to discover for me in order for me to have a different a different walk, a different process of thought? and learning how to find more ways to have and to have and to develop those inner conversations with yourself, because it makes it different. Because a lot of times those inner conversations with yourself sometimes be the realest conversations that you don't have out loud. Like for real. Having those inner conversations with yourself should be the realest conversations that you will ever have. Like, you may be nervous and maybe an introvert or afraid to communicate out loud with your fears. Have those inner conversations with you. Be as open and honest and transparent with you, even if you have to write it down. Write it down. Just write it down, because it's going to make it a lot easier for you to be as transparent as possible about what your next steps are going to be. Because if you don't like what is downloaded in your life, you have to find more ways to upload better information. If you don't like what's downloaded in your life, you have to alter your upload. Don't talk your way out of it, just change it. Your download has a direct connection to your upload. Your outcome has a direct connection to your income. And I'm going to say that again. Your outcome has a direct connection to your income. So the information that you input into yourself and you begin to the process of learning how to do it, and when you begin to study it and get better at it and you learn more about it, the outcome of the information that you input it into yourself, into your system, your income would then change. It's just like when you go and get a certification. The outcome of you wanting to learn more and to get more and to you've reached a certain plateau. So now you want to go and sign yourself up for a course. And because you have this certification now, the outcome of you wanting more and doing more has then a direct connection to your income. Stop talking about the work and stop talking about what you want to do, because it actually shows in your conversation. It's just all talk. But your download shows up in your expectations. It shows up in your execution, and it shows up in your behaviors. So as we begin to tap into those things that we want to apply ourselves to, then we begin to learn more about who that we are, because we control our processes of thought, just like we can control the places that we find ourselves in. Like, I just only want to be where I'm supposed to be. And I think when more of us live that particular life to where I just want to be where I'm supposed to be, then we won't have to find ourselves in in predicaments and situations that we know we wasn't supposed to be in that room to begin with. Listen to those inner conversations. Sometimes it holds the greatest truth you've ever had, or a greatest truth you've ever heard. So talking to you is okay. It's not crazy. It's okay to talk to you, but listen to you too. Listen to those inner intuitions, and allow yourself to be transparent in learning more about you, because you're just as important as the people that you do for. You're just as important. You can win. You can be creative, and you can be great. But acknowledge your upload, because it will be influential in your download. I'm going to say that again. Acknowledge your upload, like acknowledge the information that you're feeding yourself. Acknowledge the things that you've learned. Acknowledge the experiences that you've gained. Acknowledge the conversations that you have with yourself, because it's going to show in your download. It's going to show in your execution. It's going to show with what comes out of your mouth. That's your download. Like, what are you pouring into your life? What are you pouring into other people's lives? What are you pouring into situations? Because when you pour into other situations, you have to then understand, what was my responsibility in this? What could I have done different? What could I have said different? Because if you upload fear, you will download fear. If you upload emotions, you're going to download emotions. It's going to reflect. There is a direct connection between the two. All right, that's enough. Okay, Miss Nicola, how you been? All right, man, that's it. Miss Nicola said, and we get frustrated when they parallel. Oh, indeed, they indeed get definitely frustrated when they parallel with our behaviors. What was my responsibility in this? I think sometimes that's the hardest question that we can ask ourselves, because it has a direct connection to accountability. It has a direct connection to about accountability. Like, what was like, can I be possessive over the outcome by saying what I did? If I can't say it, then who is going to say it? And I think that's like a pain point. It's like a pain point when you fail to identify your responsibility in the outcome. But I think when we fight through the pain point of accountability, then we can assume the responsibility after we have become more accountable to the things that we've said, the things that we've done, the content that we use, and the delivery that we use to express our content. All right, I'm done for real. Hey, I appreciate y'all 100%. I mean, I was speaking with someone this past Sunday, and they was like, "Well, how's the podcast going?" I said, "Really, the podcast is going good, because I really be talking to myself just in an outward approach, and I learn more like every day that I do." Like in the morning with the podcast, it allows me to examine myself. It's like my inner examination as I begin to communicate in an open digital dialogue. I begin to learn more about process of thought. I begin to learn more about my executions, my behaviors, and how I absorb certain things. So it's been a road, like, for me. I think this is 200 and either 248 or 249 episodes. So it's been a journey. So I am assuming the upload just so my download can be bountiful in the harvest. So, all right, man, y'all be blessed. I appreciate you. This podcast will make you hold yourself accountable and value this podcast. So thank you. I appreciate Miss Ta-Da Lee. I appreciate Pola Guard for being here. I don't know where you at. You may be in Jamaica getting ready for one of your conferences. I don't know. I'm just saying. But again, y'all be blessed. Here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast of choice. Today is your day to be successful. Today is your day to be blessed. And today is your day to execute. Y'all be blessed. Peace.